Hello, students. In today's lecture, I am going to discuss about the evolution and development of human rights in Western countries. In fact, the concept of human rights was begun since the civilization on the earth, and the beginning of human history was started with the struggle for existence against the nature, for liberty, and for achieving basic freedoms. It has been proved historically that people acquired their rights and responsibilities through their membership in a group, such as family, religion, class, community, state, or nation. Amongst the written oldest source, the Hindu Vedas, Babylonian Code of Hammurabi, the Bible, the Quran, and Analects of Confucius are five written sources which address questions of people's duties, rights, and responsibilities. Thus, in all the societies of the world had system of property and justice as well as ways of tending to the health and welfare of their members either in the written or in oral form. Now a question arises that what is meaning of human rights? The most unique and challenging feature of human rights is that it is difficult to define and same time impossible to ignore. Generally, human rights denotes all those rights which are inherent in our nature, without which human cannot live a dignified life. Scott Davidson observed that the concept of human rights is closely connected with the protection of individual from the exercise of state, government, or authorities in certain area of their lives. And it is also directed towards the creation of societal condition by the state in which individuals are to develop their fullest potential. So it can be analyzed from these definitions that human rights are essential part of every human to live and to enjoy his or her life to the fullest. The concept of human rights has gradually evolved over past several centuries. It is immaterial whether you call it these rights as inherent rights or fundamental rights or by some other names. Genesis of the concept of human rights can be traced to emergence of classical liberalism. Classical liberalism made a passionate defense of the principle like competitive individual, private property, market ethics, etc. The idea of rule of law, limited government, and individualism characterized the 17th and 18th century anti-nationalist school and potential liberalism. Dobley has said that just as legal rights have the law at their source and contractor rights arise from the contract, humanity, human nature are some such aspects of all person would seem to be source of human rights. In fact, there is no clear-cut theory regarding the origin of the human rights. There exist different viewpoints regarding the origin of human rights. Some scholar traces the origin of human rights to religious tradition. Some argues that human rights is highly indebted to the entitlement, the necessary condition of enlightenment, which combined to bring an end the Middle Age in Europe. It is also said that uh, the root of the rights can be traced in Babylonian law. Hammurabi issued a set of laws called Hammurabi Code. In India, the drama of Vedic period created moral basis of human right. Human rights are also so based on the concept of natural law and natural rights. And origin of concept of natural law can be traced to the Stoic. Stoic postulates a cosmopolitan philosophy guided by the principle of equality of all men, universal application of natural law based on reason. Thus, the evolution of human rights, this concept of natural law played a prominent role. The concept of human right was conspicuous in the ancient Greek in India. The proponent of natural rights explained that natural rights are the rights belonging to a person by nature and because he was a human being, not by virtue of his citizenship in a particular country or membership of a particular religion of the ethnic group. Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Rousseau are three main thinkers who developed the natural rights theory. Locke viewed that certain rights are natural to the individual as human being having existed in a state of nature before the development of societies and emergence of the state. Rousseau regarded is the greatest master of natural law school. He proclaimed that men are bestowed with the inalienable rights of liberty, equality, and fraternity. His concept became the basis of French Declaration of Right of Man and of the Citizen. The American independent movement of 1776 and the French Revolution of 1789 was inspired by the ideal natural rights, and both movements were sought to challenge government that curtailed the natural rights of the people. In addition to the contributions of these three thinkers, we may make a mention of Thomas Paine, uh, an American revolutionary thinker, developed the doctrine of natural rights without linking Rousseau's social contract theory. He observed that the rights are natural because they are bestowed upon man by God Himself. Actually, it is said that Thomas Paine has coined the term human rights. Now we comes upon the development of human rights. Human rights are enjoyed today, developed through various states, documents asserting individual rights such as Magna Carta of 1215, which was given by King John 16, the English Bill of Rights 1689, the French Declaration on Right of Man and Citizen 1789, and the US Constitution and Bill of Rights 1791 are written precursors of to many of today's human rights documents. Contemporary international human rights law and the establishment of United Nations have important historical antecedents. Efforts in 19th century to prohibit the slave trade and limit to the horrors of war are prime examples. In 1919 centuries established International Labour Organization ILO to observe treaties protecting workers with respect of their rights. including their health and safety. Concern over the protection of certain minority groups was raised by the League of Nations at the end of First World War. However, this Organization for International Peace and Cooperation, created by the victorious European allies, never achieved its goal. The League of Nations floundered because United Nations refused to join, because the League failed to prevent Japan's invasion of China and Manchuria, 1931. Italy's attack on Ethiopia, 1935. And finally, it was died with onset of the Second World War in 1939. There are important landmark development of human rights under some documents in the name of Magna Carta 1215, influence of social contract theory, English Bill of Rights 1689, American Declaration on Human Rights 1776, American Bill of Rights 1791, French Declaration of the Right of Man of 1789, the Bolshevik Revolution of Russia 1917, Universal Declaration on Human Rights 1948, and International Covenant on Human Rights 1976. Each declaration and movement referred have made important contribution in advancing the concept of human rights. Magna Carta is said as a first written document. It is considered as the first Charter of Liberty. It was signed by the King John of England in 1215. The main theme of Magna Carta was protection against the arbitrary acts of the king. There was 63 clauses under the charter which guaranteed certain basic civil and legal rights to the citizen and protected the parent of unjust taxes. Actually, the king was compelled to grant the charter because barons refused to pay heavy taxes unless the king signed the charter. The reality, the Magna Carta was merely compromise of distribution of powers between kings and his nobles. Next one was a social contract theory. The influence of social contract theory in the development of human rights was more profound in the scope as well as its impact. Doctrine of social contract theory was closely linked to the theory of natural law because the basis upon which the natural law theories were formulated was the same as social contract also. These doctrines becomes popular in 16th and 17th century through the writings of Thomas Hobbes, Locke, and Jacques Rousseau. Hobbes wrote that man entered into social contract and put the natural state to the end. This contract led to the creation of commonwealth or state, and the ruler was also the outcome of that contract. Since the ruler did not take part in the contract, he was not bound to observe the condition of the contract. After the contract, civil society came into existence, and according to Hobbes, the people surrounded all the powers to the kings through the contract except the rights of self-preservation. Locke wrote two books, essay concerning the human natures, essay on civil government, and according to him, man entered into two contracts, that is social and political. Social contract led to the creation of the society and political contract led to formation of the government. Locke believes that people did not transfer all the rights to the king through the contract. King was given only right to life, right to property, right to security. So king is only trustee. People reserves right to dethrone the kings if he fails to safeguard to the security of the people. Rousseau also wrote a book in the name of social contract, and according to him, people transfers all right to the society, put the natural order to an end. He regarded the real will of the society as general will and considered general will as sovereign. General will forms the basis of government, and Rousseau regarded government is an institution functioning under the general will of the people. Next document is Bill of Rights in England, which was signed in 1689 after glorious revolution of 1688. The power of king was reduced after this revolution. British Parliament declared its supremacy over the crown in clear terms. Soon after coronation of William and Mary, the new ruler after revolution summoned the convention parliament, accepted the Declaration of Rights, passed into law from the Bill of Rights. English Bill of Rights declared that king has no overriding authority. Principles like limited monarchy and parliamentary supremacy, etc., was declared during that period. Bill of Rights states that the King of England should be an Anglican. King should not exercise suspending or dispending power. No standing army should be maintained without the consent of the parliament. No taxation without the consent of the parliament. Parliament is sole authority to decide who should rule England. The people should have right to send petition to the king. Annual grant were to be given to king by parliament. Arbitrary courts are abolished. Parliament was freely to elected, and the member were have freedom to speech. The Toleration Act was passed by the parliament, granted religious freedom to the people also. Next document comes in the form of American Declaration of Independence. America was actually a British colony. There were 13 colonies in America. These colonies were revolted against England for their independence. The main reason for revolt was British government was of the view that the colonies also should share in expenses incurred in their administration. With this view, British government started to take various regulatory measures under which it introduced certain new taxes. This resulted into militant opposition by the American people. They argued that since they did not have their representatives in British Parliament, it had no rights to impose taxes upon them. No taxation without representation was main slogan during the period. The state declared independence in 1776. The Declaration of Independence was done July 4th of 1776. Famous document was drafted by Thomas Jefferson. The American made their claim for independence on the basis of inalienable right of man, popular sovereignty, and the right of revolution. But at the time of drafting of Constitution in 1787, they did not include the Bill of Rights in the Constitution. They did it in 1791, adopting 10 amendments to the Constitution. These amendments are known as Bill of Rights and forms part of their Constitution. Thus, US Bill of Rights, first 10 amendments of US Constitution constitutes American Bill of Rights. James Madison proposed as many as 12 amendments in the Constitution form Bill of Rights. 10 were ratified by the state legislature, and 10 constitutional amendments came to known as Bill of Rights in America. The Constitution settlement in the United States and the attached Bill of Rights provided a model for protection of human rights in America. Next documents is French Declaration on Right of Man. Declaration of Right on Man was a product of French Revolution. The revolution reached in climax in 1789. National Assembly swept away the ancient feudalism and serfdom. The slogan of revolution was liberty, equality, and fraternity. All the special privileges were abolished and society came to be organized on the basis of equality. The French Revolution enabled the people to enjoy different kinds of right. The revolution established the novel idea of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Government should not be only for the people but also by the people. 17th August 1789, National Assembly proclaimed the right of man and of the citizen. These rights were formulated 17 articles. It declared that men are born free and equal in the rights. The aim of all political association is to preserve natural rights of man. There are certain rights of man and citizen have been recognized under French Declaration. For example, men are born and remain free and equal in rights. Aim of all political association is to preserve the natural rights of the man. These rights are liberty, property, security, resistance to oppression, and sovereignty rests essentially in the nation. Liberty consists in the ability to do whatever does not harm another. No man can be indicted, arrested, or detained except in the case of determined by the law. All men should be presumed innocent until judged guilty. No one may be no man may be disturbed for his opinion, pre-communication of thought and opinion. No tax without consent of citizen. Property rights. These rights were given by French Revolution. Other one is the Russian Revolution, which took place in 1917. It was first successful communist revolution in the world. H.G. Wells considered it as greatest event after the advent of Islam. French Declaration proclaiming liberty, equality, and fraternity of all, but liberty and equality were soon proving to be empty slogan for poor peasant and factory workers. Hence, beginning in the mid 19th century, demand for social security and social justice in addition to civil and political rights appeared forefront of socialist movement. Bolshevik revolution in Russia 1917 went a step further, which emphasized economic and social rights were important as civil and political rights. After that, League of Nations and ILO was most important documents. League of Nations was established after First World War, but it was failed due to certain reasons. Then, because Second World War was in operation, and after Second World War, a plan to make world peace, crime against peace, was begun. The idea of human right was emerged stronger after Second World War. Extermination by Nazi Germany of over 6 million Jews, Sintis, Romani, homosexuals, and persons with disabilities horrifies the world. Then government committed themselves to establish United Nations with primary goal of bolstering international peace and security, preventing conflict. And the essence of these emergent human rights principle was captured in President Franklin Roosevelt, 1941. And in these wise played a crucial role in San Francisco meeting at drafted the United Nations Charter in 1945. UDHR was adopted by the General Assembly to the United Nations on 10th December 1948. Declaration is not only legally binding document, it is an ideal for mankind. In the words of E. Roosevelt, it proclaims a common standard of achievement for all the people and all the nations. Universal Declaration on Human Rights has had significant influence on the development of standard that stays not only respected but also has legal commitment and to be respected. International Covenant on Human Rights also is an important document after UDHR. UN Commission on Human Rights proceeds to draft treaties, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights ICCPR and its optional protocols, and International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights ICESCR. Together with the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, they are commonly referred as to International Bill of Rights. ICCPR primarily focus on issues right to life, liberty, freedom, religion, and voting, and ICACR focuses on the issues food, education, health, and shelter. Both covenant trumpets the extension of rights of all persons, prohibit discrimination. Thus, it is all for today's class. Thank you. Thank you very much.